Good afternoon. My name is Asha Karan. I'm Director of Special Initiatives here at 92Y. It is my great pleasure to welcome Ami Dar, founder and executive of Idealist.org. Idealist works to connect people, organizations, and resources to build a world where all people can live free and dignified lives. It has become one of the most popular nonprofit resources on the web, with information provided by 70,000 organizations around the world and 100,000 visitors every day. Please join me in welcoming Ami Dar.
Hello. So how many people know Idealist? Awesome. I don't have to say a thing. There's nothing more boring than talking about a website, so you guys check it out later if you don't. So what I do want to talk about today, does this thing work? It does. So my name is Ami. Again, I'm from Idealist, and today I want to talk about a new project that we're launching at idealistnyc.org. And the reason for that is that ever since we launched Idealist in '95, we launched Idealist because ever since I was a really small brat, I was obsessed with this big problem, the sense that how can we do more with everything that we have? And really sort of the strengths that we have so much, right? When you look around the world right now, it's not just technology, it's ideas, it's goodwill, it's all of this stuff. And we have so very much, and yet we get up in the morning, we open a paper, we walk down the street, and there's a bunch of people out there, including some of you, I think, who are not doing great. And so the question is, looking at all this, is this really, as human beings, is this really all we can do? I mean, I don't know, are we that lame? Can't we actually do more? And I think our gut tells us again and again that yes, absolutely, we should be able to do more. The question, of course, is how. And the problem is that it's complicated out there, right? First of all, there are many, many of us out there. We're not just 20 people in a little island somewhere. There's 7 billion of us, lots of organizations, lots of businesses. So one, we're many. Second, we want to do more about many, many different things. So when you say that you want a better world, or she says she wants a better New York, in fact, better schools, less poverty, more whales, so 7 billion times all of that. Then, in addition to that, when you say better school and you say better school, in fact, you mean two completely different things. And lastly, we all, I think, certainly in the nonprofit sector, talk a really good game about collaboration and stuff. In fact, we love our independence, we love sort of doing things our own way, and we love our differences. And so the real puzzle, almost mathematically, is this. How can many, many different actors, right, do more about many different things without getting each other's way and without giving anything up? Now, this is complicated. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Really quickly, think about a farmer's market, think about the web, think about a potluck dinner. This is the kind of stuff that happens, right? The point, though, is that to make that happen, you need some kind of shared goal. And that's where things get really tricky. Because is there any way that all of us in this room, plus many more people outside of this room, can we come up with some kind of common goal, some kind of common point of pain that we can all agree on? Really tricky. We believe that it's possible. And to get there, over the last year or two, we've been playing with this interesting process where if you take any group of people anywhere and you ask them these 3 questions, you get some interesting answers. The first question is, ask yourselves, think of anything in your life at any given point that you've wanted to do to help someone, change something, move something forward, and for some reason you didn't. What stopped you? What resource, what lack of resources, what intangible, what fear stopped you from doing it? And what would have actually taken to actually act on that? If you listen carefully to those answers, and we can't do that right now, but if you listen carefully to those answers, and every person has a story or more like that, you land on 3 points of pain that seem to be true all over the world, across every issue, across every community. The first one is that there seems to be a huge gap out there between people's intentions and the actions they actually take. We all want to do more, small, large, local, global, every day than we actually do. So there's a huge gap out there. People, organizations would like to do more. The second point of pain is that our problems are all connected, but we actually aren't. And that might seem weird. I'm looking around the audience, every single person seems to have some sort of device. We think we're all connected. We're actually not. Most people have no idea who lives 4 floors up, 10 floors down, 2 blocks east, 3 blocks north, and certainly not what are they thinking. And you can imagine sort of 2 people standing in a building somewhere, looking out of the 14th floor or the 3rd floor. They're looking at something, they're imagining doing something together. How would they ever do it? They're not telepathic, the thing doesn't happen. And the last point of pain is that the world is full of amazing ideas, you're going to hear about some of them this week, that have been implemented in some places and could be implemented elsewhere, but they just don't have the marketing power behind them, so they don't get to where they should be going. Okay, so you have a world in which there's a big gap between intention and action. Our problems are connected. We could be much better connected to do something about them. And you have awesome ideas and haven't traveled far enough. And so what do we do about this? You could stop for a second there and you could say, well, interesting anthropology maybe. What are you going to do about it? Well, what we want to do actually is we want to go from being a site to creating with you guys, with whoever wants to join us, create a movement, a network, a whole ecosystem that takes these problems on. That actually, instead of focusing on planting one more tree, which is really important, or mentoring a kid, again, really important, you actually take on these 3 meta problems. You find every possible way, from a phone number to somebody sitting in a coffee shop to whatever ways you can, to make it easier for people everywhere to move from intention to action, to make every possible connection, online, offline, local, global, it doesn't matter, between people, organizations, and resources, and to find and spot great ideas wherever they've been implemented and move them to wherever they could best be used. So that's very, very briefly in the 6 minutes that we have here. How are we starting this? We're actually starting this week. We started this week in New York. We're going to start in New York with a pilot project right now and show the details, show that this can actually work, and then go global. If you go to this little site, idealistnyc.org, you would find the half-hour version of this presentation where, in fact, we can actually crack this nut, but not in 6 minutes, so you can see the whole thing there. You'll also see that over the last week or 2, we've been meeting with hundreds of people across the city. About half of them who hear this want to get involved, and so this is moving forward as we speak. So take a look there, and if you are the kind of person that in their life has done this with their hands, it's okay. How do we get this back? I don't know. If you're the kind of person that in your life has done this with your hands like 1,000 times, you like connecting people, you like connecting dots, then come take a look and join us. Thank you.